What's up, AnimeBallZ fans? Ray here with another episode of What's New Japan for your attentive little ears. What is What's New Japan, I hear you asking? Well, I've explained it 1,000,001 times, but once more can't hurt. What's New Japan is where I find out what anime is coming out in Japan right now, and I tell you about it in the hopes that you'll find it exciting enough to give it a shot when it gets an English release. That being said, let's get started. First up on my list for you this week is another movie continuing with the theme that I randomly threw together last week. It is the movie of Star Driver the anime. Now, I haven't seen much of Star Driver, but I have heard the name thrown around quite a lot at conventions, and it has been on my list of anime I need to watch for quite some time now. Anyway, for those of you who don't know what Star Driver is about, the basic plot synopsis is that it's set in the remote Southern Cross Island, where a secret organization named the Glittering Crux plans to reactivate giant mobile suits that have been sealed for ages. So they're kind of trying to, reactivate Gundams sort of thing, except that these giant mobile suits are known as Psi Bodies, and they can only be controlled by pilots identified as Star Drivers. Hence why the anime is called Star Driver. I assume it follows the adventures of the main character, who is actually a Star Driver. You gotta love it when people get really original about naming their anime series. Anyway, to unleash their full power, the mysterious group must break the seals of the 4 shrine maidens that reside in the Isle. Recently arrived outsider Takuto Tsunashi vows to stop the Glittering Crux in order to protect Waco Agamaki. Agamaki? I don't know how to pronounce Japanese. Why am I even trying? Anyway, she's a girl who saved his life, and she's also one of the 4 maidens. Waco, the girl, is a lively young lady who has already been betrothed to Sugata Shindo, a rich and talented childhood friend. Despite being very close to Agamaki, Sugata quietly disapproves the engagement since it was forced onto them due to a family tradition. The melancholic couple become a radiant trio as Takuto becomes not only their friend but protector of the seals, since he is none other than the galactic pretty boy. Wow, that is like the worst title for a hero ever. Oh yes, I am the Slayer of Dragons. What are you? I'm, the galactic pretty boy. Wow. Anyway, it does sound like quite an interesting series. It seems to be following with the absurdness of Gurren Lagann, but it's also got some other elements from different series in there. I can see some Gundam in there. I can see a little bit of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I can see probably one of my most favorite mecha anime ever, Godana. If you haven't seen Godana yet, watch it. It is hilarious. But with that being said, also remember to check out Star Driver the movie and also Star Driver the anime series, because it also sounds pretty awesome. And well, yeah, what more do you want? It sounds like an awesome show. I highly recommend this one to you guys. Now, this next anime that I have on my list for you is going to be a rather short review because, try as I might, I can't actually find that much information about it online. The series is called Man Girl. It's not what you think, I swear to God. It's a comedy series. It's also, it started off as a manga, and it's also been an internet radio show. It's recently getting turned into an anime next month. Yes, next month. And it's basically about a group of girls who know nothing about magazine production that decide that it would be a great idea to start their own manga company, pretty much. So it's kind of like, I guess, a slightly bigger version, well, not bigger as in terms of fan base, but bigger in terms of the characters' ambitions. So it's kind of like a female version of Bakuman, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Yeah, apart from that, I really have not been able to find much information on it. It will start airing in January 2013 in Japan. Hopefully, we will see an English release of the series before the end of 2013. If not, I'm sure we will see the manga make an appearance in Australia, America, England, wherever you happen to be living. I'm sure we'll see the manga make an appearance somewhere around the world apart from Japan before the end of 2013. But definitely keep your eye out for this one. It is quite a funny series. I have read a couple of the strips by now. It's quite a funny series. I highly recommend it to everybody. The final thing I have for you on my list of anime this week is the 5th season of a series known as Hetalia, or as I like to call it, How to Study for Your History Exam Without Getting Too Bored. Anyway, for those of you who don't know what Hetalia is, and I'll take this moment to say hi there, thank you for coming out from under your rock for God knows how long. Hetalia is pretty much an anime series which I guess you'd say it reiterates the major events in history, mostly World War II and the events that happened around that time, but also other major historical events. But the whole thing is, or the whole gimmick of the series is that all the countries are represented by one character, which is pretty much, and please don't hate me for this next sentence, but the character is pretty much the biggest stereotype of that country that the animators could possibly think of. A couple of characters that spring to mind is the character of America is a huge, egoed, hot-headed guy that keeps running around shouting something about being a hero. Germany has a Bratwurst shove sofa. I'm not going to finish that sentence, but it's not really my kind of series. I've watched a handful of episodes, and while I can see why people like it, it's not exactly what I like in a series. It's a bit too silly for me, I guess would be the expression I'm looking for. But it's a huge series. It's literally just taken off since it got aired in 2010. Or sorry, it originally got published in 2006. The manga didn't get picked up by the English developers until 2010. But it's just leapt off the ground. It's still going strong today. And yet they're up to the 5th season, so they must be doing something right, I guess. Anyway, if you're a fan of Hetalia, chances are you already knew that this was coming out. You've already pre-ordered your English version of it, even though the Japanese version isn't even out yet. And you've probably just spent the last 2.5 minutes of me talking about it, bouncing up and down on your seat, eagerly awaiting eagerly anticipating the arrival of the series. And if you're not a fan of Hetalia, you've probably just Google searched Hetalia to try and find out what the hell I'm talking about, because I haven't really done a good enough job of explaining it. So, to reiterate my point about Hetalia, pretty much just a history lesson compacted into an anime series with the silliness turned up to 11. So at the end of another week of What's New Japan, I've told you about the new series of Hetalia, which is entitled Hetalia, the Beautiful World. Kind of a pretentious title considering all the characters are countries of the world. I've told you about the series Mung Girl, which is about a bunch of girls who decide that they want to basically start their own manga company. And I've told you about Star Driver, the anime, the movie, the film, the game. That joke's a bit old now. Hopefully one of them is to your liking. Most people will probably just decide to check out Hetalia because of how popular it is. If none of them are to your liking, hopefully I have something for you next week in What's New Japan that you'll find, well, better suited to your tastes. I'm Ray. This has been another episode of What's New Japan. Catch you on the flip side.